Namaste, friends. I want to read another chapter now of Swami Anand Arun's book, Lone Seeker, Many Masters. And it is the third chapter indeed. It's about my own master, Osho. And I will read it now, so if you want, relax or lie down and just listen to my voice as you were listening to a waterfall or to running water. Please enjoy. Osho. Acharya Rajneesh walked into the garden. His long black beard and hair danced to the rhythm of the evening breeze, his radiant face blanched with the rays of the moon emanated grace. I looked at him in disbelief. I couldn't believe a human body could be so beautiful. My heart was filled with the loftiest sentiments. He looked like a luminous being who had just descended from the land of the rishis. And there is a beautiful picture of Osho. Yeah. The fateful evening of the 29th of March, 1969 stands out vividly in my memory. That evening I had the darshan of my guru, Acharya Rajneesh, for the first time. The cool breeze rolled in waves from the banks of the Ganga. The air was spiced with the fragrance of flowers and fruits. Just when I thought the evening couldn't get any more beautiful, there walked in Acharya Rajneesh, serene and otherworldly in his white lungi and a white shawl. My heart skipped a beat. I had never seen a mortal so beautiful, so sublime, so godlike. Back then, I was doing my engineering course at Patna University. In my spare time, I frequented the Sinha library in the city, which had a collection of rare books on spirituality. Engineering didn't intrigue me at all. If the truth be told, I was doing the course mostly on my parents' insistence. My real interest lay in spirituality. At the slightest pretext, I used to abandon my classes and visit different religious gurus and their ashrams. One afternoon, after spending a rather fruitful time at the Sinha library, I was walking out of the hall when I noticed a poster for yet another religious talk in town. The poster announced that someone named Acharya Rajneesh was giving a discourse in the library garden that very evening. That was the first time I had heard the name Acharya Rajneesh. My fascination with meditation and gurus had survived the test of time. Since my childhood, I exhibited a great deal of interest in meditation, yoga, and naturopathy, which often troubled my parents. They tried their best to discourage me from pursuing spirituality, chastising me every now and then for what they thought was a deplorable hobby for a young man. But I stood determined and continued my pursuit. By then I had traveled to most of the ashrams of North India and met most of the popular gurus of that time. Among them were Anand Murti, Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, Anukul Chand Thakur, Swami Shivananda of Rishikesh, Madhavrao Golwalkar of the Rastriya Swayamsevak Sangh, and sannyasin of the Ramakrishna Ashram. They all were special in their own ways, and I did learn something from each of these gurus, but I was not completely satisfied by them, and I was still waiting for my own guru. The Sarvodaya movement, based on the philosophy of Gandhi and Vinoba Bhave, had taken in India by storm. Jayaprakash Narayan had also recently left politics and joined the Sarvodaya movement. I had met Jayaprakash Narayanan in Patna and found in him a deep quest for truth and a heart that was open to the woes of the masses. This inspired me very much to do something to uplift society as well. I was in a state of great turmoil and confusion when I first met Osho. I was searching for the balance between Krishna's devotion and celebration, Buddha's peace and meditation, Swami Vivekananda's fiery grace, and Gandhi's truth and non-violence. I felt betrayed by time. I used to think that had I been born in their time and become their disciple, I wouldn't have been lost. Naturally, when I saw the poster, I decided to give it a try. I was so excited that I was one of the earliest to reach the garden and took my seat in the first row. Right on 6 p.m., Acharya Rajneesh walked in. He had a very graceful way with his body. His hands had the beauty and precision of a classical dancer. Now he folds his hands in Namaste, now he holds the seam of his lungi gently, and now he strokes his beard. His long black beard and hair danced to the rhythm of the evening breeze. His radiant face, blanched with the rays of the moon, emanated grace. I looked at him in disbelief. I couldn't believe a human body could be so beautiful. My heart was filled with the loftiest sentiments. He looked like a luminous being who had just descended from the land of rishis. Acharya Rajneesh sat down on the podium and closed his eyes. I was still struck by his beauty and couldn't take my eyes off him. A woman started singing a verse by Kabir in a very melodious voice. I learned later that Acharya loved the songs of Kabir and Meera, and his discourses were usually preceded by their songs. Her voice filled the campus with calm. The evening was still except for the cool breeze of the Ganga. Beauty reigned everywhere. My beloved ones, Acharya began his discourse. My heart started to beat in violent spasms, and tears rolled down my cheeks unchecked. A long-forgotten chamber of my heart had opened. Some long-lost beloved was remembered. Acharya continued the discourse in his deep, hypnotic voice, and I kept singing into the core of my being. My handkerchief was already drenched in tears, and yet the sea that my heart had become was in no hurry to calm down. My tears alarmed a friend of mine who had accompanied me to the discourse. "What's happening to you? Why are you crying so much?" he kept asking me. If only I knew why. Every single word he uttered shook my being. Acharya was strongly denouncing celibacy, Gandhiism, and religious leaders. At that time, I was fascinated by all three and was trying to lead the very life Acharya was denouncing. His discourse went against my education and my conditioning. My rational mind was rejecting his ideas, but deep down the truth in his words had already won me over. Somebody from the audience asked. Gandhi was a saint, and he always traveled in the third-class compartment of trains, but why you, a sadhu, only travel first class? Acharya answered, Gandhi used to say that he travelled third class because there was no fourth class on Indian trains. But I say that I travel first class because there is no air-conditioned carriage on Indian trains yet. The day they put air-conditioned carriages on Indian trains, I will stop using first class. Unlike Gandhi, I do not consider poverty divine. For me, poverty is a disease sprung out of stupidity and an unscientific outlook on life. Today, due to the proper use of science and technology, the whole of Europe and America are traveling in air-conditioned carriages. But what great sins have we committed that we always have to travel in third class? Acharya's logic was unparalleled. Even those who did not like his philosophy were stupefied by his analytical ability. He was destroying my borrowed beliefs and conditioning with his sharp logic. My mind was resisting with all its might, and yet my heart had already recognized that the master I had always prayed for was sitting in front of me, graceful like a rishi, fearless like a warrior. Acharya ended his talk with these words, I'm grateful that you listened to me with such patience and love. There is no reason to believe what I have said. Doubt my words, think about them, meditate on them. Accept only that which feels right to you. In the end, I pay my respects to the divine residing within all of you. Please accept my pranam. As soon as Acharya finished his discourse, a crowd surrounded him. People were frantically trying to hug him, touch his feet, or wherever they could manage to touch. The crowd was impenetrable. I stood frozen in my place. Slowly I walked towards the bookstall instead. They were registering the name of annual subscribers for the Hindi magazine called Yugrant, which propagated Acharya's philosophy. Annual subscription cost 12 rupees and half-yearly cost 6 rupees respectively. I only had 3 rupees in my pocket, so I asked them could I make a quarterly subscription. They didn't have a provision for quarterly subscription, so I came up with an idea. Take 3 rupees and make me a yearly subscription. I will send you the remaining 9 rupees through money order, I said rather hesitantly. To my surprise, the volunteer trusted me and handed me a bill that read, yearly subscription with 9 rupees remaining. That was the most important and intelligent investment of my life. It not only transformed my life, but also became a catalyst in the transformation of thousands of lives all around the world. After some time, it was announced that Acharya would give a discourse on Mahavir at Rabindra Bhavan in a program organized by the Jain community, and then he would return to Jabalpur in an express train that same night. Mesmerized, I decided to follow Acharya to the Rabindra Bhavan. Acharya left in an ambassador car. I didn't have a single penny left in my pocket, so I covered a distance of 4 kilometers by running after the car. Since Acharya's car was slowed down by the evening traffic, I reached Rabindra Bhavan just in time for his discourse, also rather exhausted. In those days, Acharya's discourses used to be fiery, and he attacked all kinds of blind religious faiths and superstitions. That particular discourse was about Mahavir, and he was saying how the Jains did not understand a word said by Mahavir and were only blind devotees. I could feel the tension brewing in the room as all the organizers were Jains. Acharya's talk stunned the audience as much as it disturbed the organizers. Honestly speaking, I was worried if Acharya's words were going to provoke a furore among the Jains, who sat down dignified in the first few rows of the audience. Despite a thick smoke of tension that filled the hall, the organizers exhibited no outward agitation on their faces. Since Acharya was from a Jain family, the organizers had not expected such criticism from a saint who they thought was one of their own. Acharya's talk ended. It was announced that he would go directly to the railway station from the hall. I had a great wish to go to the railway station, but neither did I have any money on me nor any strength left to run the distance. Instead, I slowly walked the 7-kilometer distance to my hostel, submerged in an indescribable bliss. After that first meeting, I started corresponding with Acharya through the mail. My life was full of problems and questions. I started to write everything to Acharya. My letters were always answered in his beautiful handwriting. He used very few words, but the words were full of meaning, and they had the effect of a mantra on me. The solution to all your problems is meditation. Meditation will provide you with spiritual energy, and when the energy reaches its peak, all problems will dissolve instantly. There is a meditation camp at Dwaraka this October. If you can make it to the camp, then you will be able to meditate, and we can also talk in detail, he wrote. I couldn't conceive of traveling alone to Dwaraka, so I asked my friends to join me for the trip. No one was interested. Disappointed, I returned to Kathmandu for the Dashain holidays with my heart and soul ever pulled by Acharya. I couldn't enjoy the festivities of Dashain, and all that merrymaking only made my sadness more pronounced. In the end, I decided to make the journey from Kathmandu to Dwaraka alone. The resolution instantly pumped blood into my veins, and I started making preparation with great enthusiasm. Although it was the festival season, I easily acquired railway tickets. Everybody seemed eager to help me. After a long trip, I reached Dwaraka in faraway Gujarat. I have a deep connection and attraction with the sea. Even today, when I'm close to the sea, I'm filled with a mysterious bliss and contentment. I feel enchanted by the vastness of the body of water, and my ego drops and my consciousness expands and feels peaceful. The loved Lila Bhumi of Krishna, the vastness of the Arabian Sea, and most importantly, the choice presence of Acharya took me to the peak of bliss. It was especially the meditations conducted on the beach at night that proved alchemical. Acharya's presence and his meditation instructions based on death revealed one mystery after another. Every day was filled with silence, depth, and deeper ecstasy. The discourses he delivered during that meditation camp were transcribed and published under the name Main Mrityu Sikada Hun. I teach the art of dying. Most of the people attending the camp were Gujarati, except for a few who were from Bombay. I was the only one who was from elsewhere. For the third time, I met a group of young seekers who were blissful and loving and free from all conditioning. Although I was far away from home, I had never felt so much at home in my entire life. In his first discourse itself, Acharya talked about the potential of spirituality. He said, "The Hindus say the soul is eternal, but no one has experienced it. It is only a repetition of the scriptures. If there is even one self-realized soul in a village, he will be able to transform the whole village. Just as the presence of a graceful woman brings beauty to the whole atmosphere around her, just as a flower fills the whole area with fragrance, a realized soul lifts the consciousness of the whole society." The total number of sannyasins of all creeds in India adds up to more than 10 million, and they are all chanting Shivoham, Shivoham, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Shiva, I am Brahma. Some remain naked while others walk around carrying a stick. Some sleep on a bed of nails while others smear ash all over their bodies and look like clowns. Some think it's spiritual to flog themselves, and others stay in front of a bonfire in scorching hot afternoons. This is a spiritual circus, not penance. If there were 10 million soulful people in our country, then it would not be in such a miserable state. They are not saints, they are charlatans. It is because of them that young and educated people are losing interest in religion. The common folk are not responsible for this because their consciousness is always low. If there is anyone responsible for this, it is the politicians, the priests, and the so-called saints. Today they are saying that they will improve the character of each individual and make them moral, but this is impossible. The world can only be changed if some people go through the process of intense spiritual transformation. They should become the light that guides society and become the ideals for humanity. I need only 100 such courageous people. If they can be self-realized, then the whole face of society can be changed. Gurdjieff and Vivekananda also used to say that if they found 100 dedicated seekers, then they can change the map of the world. They couldn't find such 100 dedicated seekers and had to die disappointed. I also need 100 people, but I'm not going to die disappointed. I will travel to each village, I will gaze into each eye, and when I see eyes that have the potential to become transformed, I will pull them out of all their problems, and I'm ready to put all my energy and ability towards their transformation. If you have the courage, then come. I will show you the mystery beyond time and space. These fiery words of Acharya shook me to the core. All night I remained in ecstatic energy. In the morning, I wrote a note and gave it to Acharya. It read, Acharya Shri, now you only need to search for 99 people. One has arrived. Yeah, so beautiful. With these words of Arun or Osho, I want to finish this chapter. Namaste.